Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session today. I see that our three presenters are now able to log in. So, Miguel, when you get the chance, if you're able to broadcast the slides, that would be fantastic. And feel free to connect with the tech support that's on the line in case it's needed. But I think I'll do a brief introduction and get us started, and then we can start the session. But welcome everyone, and thanks for joining. Jason, I'm the Sustainability Director at the University of Waterloo, and I'll be moderating today's session. We have lots to go through, so I'll try to make it pretty brief. But welcome to the discussion on the SDG initiative at Tecnológico de Monterrey. Just some logistical points. Your microphones and cameras are automatically muted and turned off throughout the sessions. If you want to ask any questions of our presenters, I'll ask that you please use the question and answer tool, which is located on the right side of the screen. There's a little Q&A icon that you should be able to see. We encourage you to chat if you'd like with your fellow participants and attendees using the chat feature, which is also on the right side of your screen. And the last thing I would like to draw your attention to is the slider bar that's beneath the video. So if you hover over it, you can adjust the view for however your preference is for your viewing experience. If you have any technical issues that come up, please describe that in the moderator chat, which is the little person icon, again, free from the top on the right side of your screen. And our member of the support team from Georgia Tech is online to help you. Welcome to the session. I'm really looking forward to it. I had a brief moment to connect with Ambassador Miguel on Friday, and I think there's some really exciting work that's happening at Tec de Monterrey, and I'm excited to hear about it. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Miguel, Maria Julia, and Karina from Tec de Monterrey to hear their story on how the SDGs are being integrated across the campus in a really exciting initiative.
Good morning, everyone. I am Miguel Ruiz Cabañas, Director of the Initiative on the SDGs at Tec de Monterrey, which is part of the School of Social Sciences and Government. This initiative was initiated 1 year ago, and we are working in trying to promote the SDGs, both within the Tec de Monterrey and in cooperation with several allies. Let me start sharing. Before I start with the presentation, I would like to ask my colleagues, Maria Julia and Karina, to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Karina Ruiz. Currently, I'm a coordinator of the SDG initiative at Tec de Monterrey. Nice to meet you, and hopefully you will have an insight of all the work we're doing at the SDGs initiative at Tec de Monterrey in the following minutes. Thank you very much.
Hi. Okay, well, my name is Maria Julia, and I am the Deputy Director of the Initiative of SDGs in the Tec de Monterrey, and my task is to integrate the SDGs in the different activities of the Tec de Monterrey. Thank you very much.
Well, now we will proceed with our presentation. Can I see the slides in the presentation?
Yes.
Well, next. Before I enter explaining what we are doing at the initiative of the School of Social Sciences and Government, let me mention briefly some of the Tec de Monterrey capabilities and commitment to the SDGs. First of all, the Tec de Monterrey has decided to align itself with the SDGs and become a national and international leader in SDGs promotion and implementation. Accordingly, the Tec de Monterrey recently established a new office of Vice President for Inclusion, Social Impact, and Sustainability. Later, I will refer to a very important report that this new Vice President has just issued on the report on social impact of Tec de Monterrey activities, where more than 760 initiatives related to the SDGs have been carried out in the last year at Tec de Monterrey. We have at the Tec de Monterrey a multidisciplinary approach. Since we have a presence in the whole national territory, our teaching and researching activities are all directed to address all the SDGs. From the thousands of courses that are taught every year at the Tec de Monterrey, at least 1,600 courses per year are related to one or more than one of the SDGs. At the same time, we have more than 1,100 researchers working on topics related to the SDGs. We have 26 campuses throughout our national territory. We have 91,000 students at Tec de Monterrey and 61,000 students at our sister university, Tec Milenio. Next. Focusing on what is the SDGs initiative at Tec de Monterrey, let me say something about what we do and where we are headed. We have three main objectives. One, to mobilize the talent and resources of authorities, schools, researchers, teachers, and students so that Tec de Monterrey participates in the generation of concrete solutions at all levels in favor of the implementation of the SDGs in Mexico and in the world. Second, ensure that Tecnológico de Monterrey becomes a national and international leader in generated concrete, science, project-based solutions for the implementation of SDGs at all levels. Third, we want to publicize current text academic work in favor of SDGs and identify new opportunities to participate in innovative projects for the implementation of the SDGs. Next. We are doing that, working in 5 main strategic areas and mechanisms. We are engaged in education with new courses related to the SDGs. We are also engaged in research activities, promoting additional research on specific SDGs. We are very engaged in studying public policies, evaluating public policies, and proposing new approaches for better public policies in Mexico. And we are also advising public, private, and social sectors. Finally, we are coordinating SDSN, Sustainable Development Solutions Network, Chapter Mexico, along with the National University of Mexico, UNAM. Next. Our current main strategic projects are the following. We have been working with the federal government, with the legislative branch and the Chamber of Deputies, with German International Cooperation Agency, as well as UNAM, in developing an in-depth study on how to align the national legislation related to the SDGs with sustainable development and the SDGs. What we want is that our federal laws are going the same directions with the SDGs. We have already presented this study to the Chamber of Deputies, and we have received a good reaction from several sectors of society. Right now, we are preparing a set of reform proposals and legislative initiatives with an SDG approach. We believe that with this strategy, we will have a national impact. We will have, hopefully, an impact on national legislation. Next. Because, as I said, we have an influence in national legislation. Because of the presentation of this legislative agenda to the Chamber of Deputies, we receive an invitation to work again with the federal government and with the Senate through the Specialized Commission on the SDGs, headed by Senator Nancy de la Sierra, and with, again, the International Cooperation Agency from Germany to make a new study, a map, updating information on the status of knowledge, management, and application of the three dimensions of sustainable development and the SDGs in the Senate. We are developing a first fact-finding report on the Senate's activities on the SDGs. Again, our aim is to have an influence in the national legislation related to sustainable development. Next. We are also engaged in developing a national platform that concentrates specialized information on SDGs implementation at the municipal level in Mexico. Mexico is a big country. We have 2,446 municipalities, very diverse among them, from the north, from the center, from the southern part of the country. We are working with the federal government, we are working with the German Cooperation Agency, and we are working with the private sector through a Mexican company called CEMEX, with municipal governments. Our aim is to incorporate in the platform the country's, all the municipalities, with the participation of local universities, local and regional private sectors, and interested civil society organizations. We believe that we will have positive impacts, like, cooperating in capacity building, constructing new alliances, conforming a new large information database. We will identify concrete potential projects. We also want to channel financial support, finding potential sources of financing, and we want to scale up replicable projects or programs when they have proven to be very useful. Next. We are engaged in teaching activities. As I said before, we just designed and implemented a new course focused on generating competences related to sustainable development and the SDGs. The challenge-based educational model adopted by the Tec de Monterrey, called Tec 21, and the SDGs are integrated, because the Tec 21 educational model is really based on challenges, the same philosophy that you can appreciate in the SDGs. Challenges, challenging people, in this case students, to develop new solutions for sustainable development. The course had a duration of 5 weeks, where students work with the SDGs in the design of concrete municipal-based development projects or programs. Our next steps are the designing and teaching of several courses that can be replicated at our 26 campuses with an SDG approach. Next. Another very important project that we are starting with the university, la Universidad de los Andes of Colombia, the Universidad Católica de Chile, in Chile, is we call ourselves La Triada, these three universities, and we are starting a very ambitious project for the designing of local, national, and regional collaborative initiatives in our region, Latin America, to generate competences related to sustainable development and the SDGs. Our first action will be a first conference on prospects for the SDGs for next year, 2021, in the COVID-19 era. This conference will be a virtual conference, will take place November 18 and 19. Next. We are also coordinated along with UNAM the SDSN chapter in Mexico. With this initiative, we are promoting a wide range of project-based solutions where everyone can contribute for a sustainable future in Mexico. We are really trying at our best effort to promote best practices such as research and technological solutions for sustainable development, education for sustainability, multi-actor alliances, and potential sources of funding. We established a Banco de Proyectos, a bank of projects. We received almost 400 initiatives from several universities and education centers. We already have selected 90 projects, and we are currently training the leaders of those projects in how to present them to make them attractive for potential sources of funding. Our next steps are increasing the network membership in the country. Currently, we have 64 educational and research institutions, which represent roughly 70% of national coverage. Next. We are promoting research with an SDG approach. We want that researchers in the Tec perform additional research projects related to the SDGs. We are trying to promote financial support for these research projects. We are promoting collaboration among teachers and students throughout the Tec system, and we are also promoting collaboration with other universities, especially universities of La Triada. Our next steps are that we are going to call a second call for research projects in 2021. We already had this year the first call, and we awarded a financial support for those researchers working at Tec de Monterrey, Universidad Católica de Chile, as well as the Uninandes in Colombia. What is the likely impact? Well, we want increased research focused on implementing the SDGs. Next. We are also trying to perform workshops, training courses, one-day training courses in the shape of a workshop. We are doing this in collaboration with the private sector, in this case, Citibanamex, and the aim is to train municipal authorities in the implementation of the SDGs. The actions are design and teach workshops focused on municipal planning with an SDG approach. What we want is to train municipal personnel so they can embrace the SDGs and they can draft a transformative agenda based on the SDGs. With this, we want to improve public policies and government plans for sustainable development at municipal level, which is the target 17.14 of the SDGs. Next. Finally, we, as I said at the beginning, the Tec de Monterrey is very committed to the SDGs. Because of this, this year, a new Vice Presidency for Inclusion, Social Impact, and Sustainability was established. This new post at the level of Vice President is occupied by Dr. Inés Sainz, and recently they produced a new report, the first time ever report on social impact of Tec activities. You can see this, the front page of this report in this slide. This report contains more than 760 initiatives that are having an important social impact throughout our country. Initiatives that have been initiated in almost every corner of our national territory. Tec de Monterrey also signed last year in December the Climate Emergency Declaration by Higher Education Institutions, the first private university in Mexico that decided to join this declaration. With this declaration, we, the Tec de Monterrey, assumes several commitments, including become carbon neutral by 2030, or the latest at 2050. We are also mobilizing additional resources for action-oriented climate change research and skill building, and increasing environmental and sustainable education. We believe this really reflects the degree of the deep commitment that the Tec de Monterrey has assumed in promoting and implementing SDGs at local, state, national, regional, and international level. This is the real commitment that the Tec de Monterrey has with sustainable development in general and SDGs in particular. This is the final part of this presentation. We really would like to establish new alliances, new contacts with any researcher that may have an idea and believes that the Tec de Monterrey may be an important ally in the performing and carrying out his or her initiative. We want to work with universities in Mexico, in our region, as well as at the international level. The Tec de Monterrey is a very serious institution with enormous capabilities to promote and the real implementation of SDGs, not only in Mexico, but as I said, at all levels. I thank you very much for your very kind attention. We are, myself and my team, Maria Julia and Karina, we will be very glad to respond to the questions or comments you may have. Thank you again.
And thank you very, very much, Ambassador Miguel, for that tour de force of lots of work that's happening at Tec de Monterrey. I'll remind everyone to please add your questions into the chat function, and there is a specific Q&A. I see a couple questions starting to come in, and so maybe we'll start off with a question from Jason, a very practical question, but wondering who funds the project.
Well, the initiative, which is, again, and I want to underline this, we are working, in the academic field. We are not performing the social actions that are having a very large impact in Mexico. Our initiative is funded by the Tec de Monterrey itself, but we are also working with some institutions from the private sector, we are a non-profit institution, but to develop additional or new tasks that may arise in the future.
Excellent, thank you. And there's another question. Do you, at Tec or other universities of the Triada, use some type of guide to baseline the SDGs? So there's a couple examples that are listed here, but is there a framework or a guide that you've been using? I think is the core of the question there.
Well, we reviewed several models that were designed, 2-3 years ago in different universities and how to work with the SDGs, and we adapted it to the needs and capabilities of Tec de Monterrey. We decided that the 5 areas were the most appropriate ones for our needs and capabilities and the possibilities of having an impact. And so the main the purpose is really to promote and implement in the real world the SDGs as soon as we can. And to do that, you have to promote research, education, workshops. You have to promote a study of public policies at municipal, state, or national level, and you have to be positive in proposing new approaches, proposing new ideas. We have been very fortunate because we are working with several allies that share the point of view that we have, And I have to mention that the Office of the President of Mexico, they have a special office focused on the SDGs implementation in the country. So we have been working with them in a strong alliance precisely to promote new ideas on how to, how to take the SDGs at the municipal level, how to take the SDGs to the Chamber of Deputies or the Senate. That is a really very important alliance that we have cultivated. We have another important ally, which is a German agency for international cooperation, but we are also working with several embassies based here in Mexico City. We are working with the Italian government, with the Italian embassy in Mexico, with the British government and the British embassy in Mexico. One of the most important messages, I guess, from the Agenda 2030, as well as the SDGs, is that you cannot do it alone. Governments cannot carry out alone the SDGs. We have to work collaboratively in all sectors of society. And we believe, and I think we share this conviction with all the members of the University Global Coalition, universities have here a tremendous responsibility. The tremendous responsibility of doing what we know we can do. 1, research. 2, education. 3, proposing new public policies. 4, and very important, be the center of multi-actor alliances. One of the most important approaches that we have taken at Tec de Monterrey is to be the first promoters of multi-actor alliances. Alliances where the private sector can bring resources, the governments can bring, new laws or new public programs, public policies. Civil society organization is also very, very, very important. Community-based organizations are also very important to really make the SDGs a reality at the municipal level. So we believe at Tec de Monterrey that this is these four lines of activities are really very, very important for us to be successful in the tasks that we decided to assume.
Excellent, thank you. I have a couple of questions from Lisa that have come in, and they're both, I think, logistical ones, but is the first conference on prospects for SDGs in the COVID-19 era, is that going to be delivered in Spanish? And then just a follow-up question, is the collaboration with La Triada open to other institutions down the road as well?
Well, let me say, we are just finishing, the program for the conference, and yes, this conference will be a conference promoted by La Triada universities. This is the first conference that we are organizing among ourselves, but that doesn't preclude the possibility that new ideas or new initiatives can become a reality next year, working with other universities. Tec de Monterrey, Uniandes, and Universidad Católica have a very strong collaborative effort, which goes beyond the SDGs. I mean, they have been working in many areas and sharing research projects or different activities. And this is an association which is very important for the 3 universities. We are now doing this new activity in the SDG field, but in a second time or in a second opportunity, I think will be very fruitful to work with additional or other universities that may be interested in working in Latin American region. And yes, the conference will take place in Spanish.
Excellent, thank you. A couple other comments. One from David, just the depth and integration of the SDGs is tremendous. And so I think a very strong congratulations how you're framing tech as well as a really big source of public policy and government transformation. So just some congratulations on exemplary work from David.
Thank you.
And I think similarly from Jason, great work at Tech, and if possible, have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation afterwards. Just to note that the session is being recorded, and that recording will be shared among the attendees as well. Just a few more minutes for maybe some additional questions. Please feel free to add those into the chat. While we're waiting, I do have a couple that I had thought of myself as well. And you described some of the external partnerships that you've been developing with government agencies and the embassies and others that are in your sphere. But how do you work with internal departments within the university? I think that's often a challenge unto itself to coordinate between the faculties, between different levers of leadership, government relations, et cetera. And what does that internal collaboration look like at Tec de Monterrey?
Well, as I said, the Tec de Monterrey is a very big institution with national presence, in all the territory, 26 campuses, and we'll also have, Tec Milenio, our sister university. It's really a very big institution, and because of that, it was decided the establishment of a new high-level position, new vice president for inclusion and sustainability, and they will, coordinate all the activities that are having a social impact in the country, and we have very many initiatives within the Tec de Monterrey that relate one way or another with one or more of the SDGs. We have 6 national schools, and these national schools have literally hundreds of researchers working in at least one of the SDGs or several or more SDGs. We are promoting that we can work in specific exercises together. For example, the initiative that we just developed, the study on the legislative initiative, we developed with the participation of 17 researchers from Tec de Monterrey, from various schools, the School of Engineering, the School of Medicine, the School of Social Sciences and Government, and others. And we cooperated, for this common endeavor. And we also promoted our research activities. We promoted open to all the Tec de Monterrey professors and investigators. And we are promoting a closer connection with international institutions, including the United Nations or the SDSN or various agencies, international cooperation agencies based in Mexico. What we are doing is to promote academic activities that involve or may involve researchers of all schools and campuses from the Tec de Monterrey. We are, in a sense, an initiative that tries to promote research, education, public policies for the Tec de Monterrey. This is what we are doing. But again, there are many professors, researchers, which have a long experience working in the SDGs, and they are, implementing different initiatives within their schools or campuses.
Excellent. And I think there's a kind of a follow-up question here. How is the lead team of the SDGs integrated? Are all of you teachers and researchers, or do you have administrative support staff as well on your journey?
Well, I have to be very frank with you. You have already seen the three members of the initiative, Maria Julia, Karina, and myself. We work very well, we work hard, but we have the support of the authorities of the School of Social Sciences and Government. We have also received, our national leader is El Dr. Alejandro Poiré, and we are also working with other parts of the Tec de Monterrey, especially the new office established on the Vice President of Inclusion and Sustainability. We are working very hard with them, with Inés Sáenz and Cynthia Villarreal, and we are moving all in the same direction.
Excellent, thank you. How does the Tec de Monterrey's active collaborative online international learning feature fit into this system-wide initiative? That was a question from Annette in the chat.
Well, we as the initiative within our initiative is one of our objectives for next year is precisely to develop a new course on online, open to to the public outside from the Tec. As a matter of fact, we already have the pre program for this course, and we are going to develop with all the academic areas of the School of Social Sciences and Government, as well as other parts from the Tec de Monterrey that we have to work on these online courses. So I cannot give you a date right now when we will have our first course, but hopefully it will be in the spring of next year.
Excellent. I think we have maybe time for one more question if there's anything pressing that anybody wanted to ask, and then I know we'll probably be wrapping up in the next couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to mention one quick thing regarding Jason's first question on who is funding the projects at the bank of or at the project bank of SDSN Mexico. I wanted to tell you that currently we are precisely working with the leaders of the projects to improve them and to make them more suitable, so that maybe sometime by the end of the year we can organize an event to attract different organizations as civil society organizations, enterprises, private sector, so that they can contribute on the funding of the projects. The idea of this bank of projects is precisely to generate alliances, multi-sector alliances with different sectors of the population and of the society, so that they can contribute on ensuring that these different up-to-date 90 projects can come to an end and concrete, and maybe we can replicate them in different areas of the country.
Excellent, thank you. So I think there's a video that we wanted to share in just in the last couple minutes, I believe. So I think that is queued up. Is that correct, Miguel?
No, well, we haven't presented this video, but if the video is interesting, we will be glad to see it. But it is not our video. If someone else is proposing,
okay.
But it is not our video.
I'll pause that then. But again, I'll just say maybe to wrap up the session. Thank you so much, Ambassador Miguel and Karina and Maria Julia for internet.
Excuse me, Matt. Apparently, there is another question that I just received, and I would like to make a comment on it. How do you involve students in SDGs more than the course you manage? Well, there are 2 or 3 ways that we are involving the students. First, we are, inviting them to get involved in our initiative, and they are helping us either to organize events or to do some very specific research in one of the tasks that we are developing. Again, for example, for the legislative strategy, we had several of our researchers being assisted by students in the performing of drafting of their reports on each of the one of the SDGs. Another form with the SDSN network in Mexico, there is another SDSN Youth, where we are promoting that young people, students, and others may engage themselves in promoting the SDGs. This SDSN network is being headed by one of our students. She is a student at the Mexico City campus, along with another student from the UNAM. And they have been developing, activities throughout the year. Less activities, I guess, because of the pandemic, but they have been very, very active. And we are inviting all the time students that come with us and for example, a couple of weeks ago, we delivered a conference that with a group called a young group called My World, and they were really very enthusiastic. So we received several requests to be involved in our initiative, and we are recruiting them because we really want to promote that they are not only receivers of the message, but they are drafters of the message. Agenda 2030 and the SDGs do not belong to any country, to any international organization, or to any government, or to any specific sector of society. It belongs to all of us. And the younger generations are essential, their participation in this extremely, extremely important endeavor for the future of humankind.
That's a beautiful note to conclude on, I think. So we'll leave it at that. Again, thank you, Ambassador Miguel, Karina, and Maria Julia for putting together this presentation, and for our attendees for asking some great questions and joining us. Thank you to the UGC organizers for pulling this together as well. So on that note, the recording will be shared afterwards, and have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the conference. And we'll see you in the next session.
Thanks to you, Matt. Thank you very much for the moderation, and thank you for supporting this presentation. We do appreciate your effort. Thank you, Matt.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.